Lockdowns. We all know, we all hate them, especially with the lack of things to do. Now try being in lockdown while you're stuck at uni. Unfortunately, for people in England, that's the case, myself included. With Wales, on the other hand, they've been able to go through something known as a circuit breaker, which is a 2 week lockdown, but it still means they were stuck in uni. For this, I ended up asking a couple of my friends who happened to be living in Wales at that time and asked them about their experience before, during, and just before it ended. And these are their answers over the 3 weeks. So, how did you
Yeah.
feel when you first heard about this news?
I mean, it's quite strict up here already, so it didn't really make much of a difference because the uni's kind of just told me to not mix with other households. It didn't really change it, to be honest.
I wasn't at all surprised. Well, the cases per day were averaging around the 8 to 900 mark, and the death toll was going all over the place day by day as well.
I mean, I'm a bit miffed. Just the fact that I can't see any of my friends or Alice or anyone like that, which is extremely annoying. But I think it's a necessary evil.
How do you feel it'll affect your studies at the moment?
From what I know is that college is going to be closed for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, so college will be closed for 2 weeks. But my course isn't. You don't need to be in class to do the work.
Yeah, it didn't affect me because they'd already put the restrictions in place.
I mean, it could affect. I mean, it's definitely been affecting me and my class with the ease of just making production. To be honest, so just the amount of precautions you have to take now, it's extremely annoying. And also, you can't really have any intimate scenes anymore because of this, which is very annoying.
Do that. You don't have to answer this, but have any of them not been following the rules, and if so, how haven't they?
Yeah, there's quite a few who don't follow the rules. And they just like when they're saying don't mix with other households or don't go into other people's houses, they're still going into other people's houses. So it's
Oh,
a
jeez.
little bit frustrating in that aspect.
Um, it was to get. It was. I don't know if it is breaking the rule though, because it was purely on compassionate reasons.
Mhm.
One of them was, I mean, both times were to go and see my partner, who does, you know, doesn't really like being away from people, although she has been fine lately because of the amount of work she's been doing at university, which is massive. So I went to go and see her twice. I mean, I did go and see her quite recently, actually.
Oh. So it's been almost a week since you've been put in lockdown or
Yes,
circuit
it
breaker.
has. Circuit breaker lockdown, absolute bollocks. Yeah, that's me.
How have you felt about the limitations that have been in place over the week?
Well, for the most part, which I'm gonna get onto the why it's the most part in a moment, they
Mhm.
haven't really affected me much. But as I'm sure you're aware, non-essential items are now a thing.
Pretty. To be honest, I mean, it's not so bad usually, but the fact that I can't go to Tesco and buy a fucking ice tray, you know, or a pair of jeans is quite annoying considering all. I don't understand it because why can't I just buy a pair of jeans from Tesco? What's the point?
It's been quite weird because it was like I went to do my shopping on Friday and it was like Lidl was absolutely rammed with people. It was like 12 o'clock and it was just like heaving. So you kind of like struggled to get stuff again. I think people started to like panic buy a little bit. But and then like, over the weekend, I've not really been out a lot, so I've not really seen the impact of it because obviously you're not really allowed to go out. So I didn't.
That's fair. That's fair. It's like, what are your opinions on banning the non-essential items?
What is non-essential? Anything could need anyone could need anything at any time.
Hmm.
Like I mentioned to you earlier on in the original lockdown, my oven broke just out of the blue, just stopped working.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the hob still works, but still.
Quite weird the fact that it's down to the shop owners to decide what's essential and what's not.
Yeah. As I'm sure you're aware, that's caused some rather unfortunate situations.
Mm.
Like, there was a shop which will remain unnamed down in, I believe, Merthyr Tydfil,
Mm.
whose the mother has an autistic son who likes a very specific sandwich from this shop.
Mm.
And the mother went to go and get that sandwich for her son, and then she was told it was non-essential.
Ah.
A sandwich which is food.
Yeah, I get it, but it's just a little bit weird sometimes. Kind of like, well, what do you class as essential? Because, like, at the end of the day, like kids' clothes, I would say are essential because kids grow really fast. So they might need like new clothes within a week because they're growing. Whereas like adult clothes, yeah, I get it. It's only 2 weeks. You can live without getting new clothes for 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't agree with it at all. I think the fact is that they put like baby items as non-essential items is absolutely horrific. You know.
Yeah. With the situation, has it affected you mentally? And if so, how so?
Yeah, it's all right. I think it's not lockdown. It's the fact that I'm in uni and I've just moved away from home and I'm not with my family or friends.
Mm.
That's the bigger issue, not the fact that I'm in lockdown. Because the fact that I'm not allowed to go home is kind of like, oh, well, when can I go home? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like it's fine as long as like you've got somebody that you can speak to.
Not really. No. I already wasn't seeing. It's like 2 weeks. I've been very busy, so like I've had stuff to do. I've talked to Alice about it. She's had stuff to do. Everyone's had stuff to do though, so it's not like we're not busy. So it hasn't really affected me that much. Although I have obviously been missing my friends, and at night, it's been quite tough. I mean, like we've all been so busy, and then like I was meant to be having a party tomorrow.
Aww.
Like I was meant to be holding a party tomorrow for me and all my friends for a Halloween party. It is Halloween tomorrow.
Yeah, it's Halloween tomorrow.
And yeah, I couldn't do it because of the restrictions, so that was a massive letdown.
Damn though.
Oh, as I'm sure you know, I am a massive extrovert, so this little metaphor I've loved using is my inner extrovert is in a corner, hugging its knees, rocking back and forward. Basically, it's not been having a good time.
No, because I know from experience we've been chatting almost every day because
Pretty much.
it's making sure that you don't lose it. So this is last couple of days before your lockdown's over in Wales.
Yeah.
How's it feeling?
Still quite annoying the fact that people aren't abiding by it.
Yeah.
And it's just like we're literally in a lockdown, and people still aren't listening to the rules, if you get what I mean. So that's annoying.
I get what you mean.
But I mean, I'm looking forward to it like coming out of lockdown. So that might mean I might be able to go home.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
It's feeling all right, to be honest. You know, I'll be able to go to the shop and actually buy non-essential items, go back to work, all that lovely stuff.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah, bet you are.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Sorry to hear about yours, by the way.
Oh, well, I was stuffed either way. Can't get in or out the border. Well, as Wales is just about to get out of lockdown, England's going to be going into one. So, what are your opinions on that?
Kind of find it quite funny, to be honest. No, I don't. I think it's it's necessary, and if anyone wants to stand at the border with the marks, any marks want to stand at the border to make sure no one from England comes back in here, that would be okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's a necessary evil. I think that the English need to understand that they'll actually adhere to the lockdown rules.
Yikes. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
Because, like,
I can see why Boris Johnson has put England into a lockdown, but wouldn't it have made sense to do them at the same time?
Fair point, yeah. But the thing is, you would have had a month lockdown then.
No, like start them at the same time. I mean,
Oh, yeah. And then we'd
like have them going for the correct amounts of time, respectively. So England 4 weeks, Wales 2, and have them start at the same time. So, because of course, with Wales being a lot smaller than England, we have a lot less to contend with, so we can manage a shorter lockdown because of the size of the country.
I think that's very, very clever the way they've done it. Because obviously they've sneakily done a 6-week lockdown. Joined together. I reckon they have actually worked together on this one, because the Wales having a 2-week lockdown has meant that nobody in England can come to Wales and nobody in Wales can go to England. But then now England's in a lockdown, so it means the exact same thing. So they've done it a 6-week lockdown.
Yeah.
But it I don't think people have like kind of seen it that way. They've gone, oh, Wales is in lockdown, oh, England's in lockdown. But I reckon they've actually worked together to make it a 6-week lockdown, so then people can have time, like 2 weeks to see symptoms or anything, and then 2 weeks to get rid of it, and then 2 weeks plus. So I think they've been very, very clever.
On a lighter note, the last question. What sort of odd life lessons have you learnt during lockdown? Because everyone's been learning stuff throughout this.
Take a look who your friends really are.
What a very odd life lesson.
Yes. Yes.
Take everything on the chin. Don't let things like simmer all the time. It's like difficult to let you get upset over little things that don't really mean a lot. So it's like literally treat every day like a new day. That's what I've been doing at the minute anyway.
You know who your friends are in a lockdown. Like, the people who actually do message you, actually make sure you're okay, and all that bollocks. They're the people who you really depend on. You don't learn who they are during a crisis like a lockdown.